Good evening and welcome, racquetball friends and family around the world. This is game 2 of Real Racquetball. I'm Sudsy. I'm with Executive Director of USA Racquetball, Mike Wedel. And tonight, Mike and I will be discussing two very real topics with you, and we hope you engage and you get involved. And I'm all official with my pen here, so you know I have some questions I have even for Mike. So the first topic we're going to discuss is why should you, as a community, as players, as fans, why should we donate and support, USA Racquetball? A lot of people have a lot of questions about that, and we're going to ask Mike tonight. That's one thing. The second topic, the second part of the show, will be the giving games. And I know you've seen so much about the giving games. We've been posting it all over social media for the last week. You've seen multiple times daily, and it's a huge fundraiser and something very, very important for USA Racquetball as a whole, and ultimately for racquetball, because USA Racquetball needs to do well for racquetball worldwide to do well. So with that, let's get right to it. Time is in here in game 2. Let's serve it up, Mike. And just let's tell everybody right off the bat, why should they donate and why should they support USA Racquetball?
Hi, thank you. Thanks, Sudsy. And I want to welcome everybody. Thank you all for watching the game 2, and really excited about the way the show is turning out. So I appreciate your watching. And the questions that Sudsy put up, why USA Racquetball, is a great question. I get that asked a lot when people call and talk to us about memberships, about donors, about donating, those type of things. So we've been thinking about this a lot lately. And because of the struggles we're in, that it seemed like a really relevant topic right now. So we made it the number 1 topic in game 2. So let's just jump into it. And I spent some time this weekend, wanted to put together just a short list. And I came up with 15 topics, reasons that were ones that I know. And I'll tell you, for the time I've been involved with USA Racquetball, on the board, executive director, I wouldn't have thought of most of these. So I've learned about these since then. So I'm going to go through these kind of quick. And then there's ones, if you got questions about them, I would love to help answer those. But I'm going to go through these topics. Event sanctioning, insurance, tournament management software. We've got 5 indoor championships, plus the US Open. There are 3 WAR outdoor championships. Social media, website, magazine newsletter. 4th one, rules of maintenance. USA Racquetball supports the rules, helps make sure the rules are maintained across the board. Referee programs, instruction programs, state organizations, rebates and collaboration with those states. Local event support. We help all of the local events get what they need so they can put on a good local tournament. Tournament software. If anybody's ever run a tournament back before the software is available, I did a lot of them doing paper draws. It was a pain. Well, the software is amazing. Player rankings makes the local tournaments easier to seed those players. Record books, historical information, Hall of Fame, annual awards, our U.S. team, our U.S. junior team. I mean, how important is that to racquetball as a whole? All of our juniors look up to all our national team players. All the international competition, Pan Am Games, Pan Am Championships, World Championships, the Junior Championships. I mean, there's so many of those competitions that our players go and compete in. Manufacturer specs for racquetball equipment, racquetballs. The board of directors sets strategy, budget, policy, oversight. Those are just the ones I came up with, sitting down trying to come up with a list. And I know there are a lot more, but the term that I heard used that's kind of stuck with me, that USA Racquetball really is the glue that binds the sport together. It's kind of what keeps everything consistent across the board and makes it fair for everybody that wants to play. So that's my list.
All right, Mike, you just listed 15 reasons why we and why the players should support USA Racquetball, and they're all good, but let's kind of dive into a couple of them and just explain them a little bit better, to our members, to the fan base, and obviously to the players. So let's start right at the top. Event sanctioning.
Yeah.
Tell us what the money does there.
Well, the sanctioning part of it is kind of twofold. One of them is the software. When you sanction an event, it's like $25 to sanction a 1-day event, $75 for a 3-day event. It provides what's considered secondary insurance to the players. If they get injured or something, there's an insurance, kind of an emergency policy. Your first insurance comes up first if you've got a primary medical. But then if something, God forbid, but catastrophic happens, you've got that to fall back on just in case. Tournament management's available when you sanction a tournament. All of those players, the matches they play go into the ranking system. So you get, doesn't matter where you play across the country, if you play in a sanctioned event, those games count. Each match you play counts, and to a degree, even each point. So those go in, and the benefit of that is if you play a tournament in Michigan, then you go out to California and play in a tournament, your ranking points stay the same. So you can go out there and get seated in where you should be, theoretically. The tournament director has some flexibility in that, but the idea is you want to be able to travel across the country and play in a division that you are comfortable playing in that fits your skill level. So that
yeah, there's no doubt that the one that jumps out at me there is the insurance, because I know that there's many places that we go to, many events that we have in private clubs, you just can't have them without walking in with insurance. So that's a huge one and a huge benefit to everybody. Tell me, I'm interested in this one. Rules maintenance. What is that all about?
Well, you probably saw that the board just recently approved some new rule adjustments. So those, we have a specific committee that evaluates those rules. If in those some of the new rule changes, those came about because the IRT, LPRT, International, all were abiding by a specific rule. USA Racquetball hadn't changed that rule yet. So the committee gets together, they evaluate whether that makes the game fair, whether they believe in that rule. Then it's put out to the membership to give their thoughts on it, and then the rule is voted on. So we're able to keep the rules consistent across the country. The rule book is available to everybody online. You can find out if you've got a question about a rule. You've got a rule director that you can ask. Everybody knows Otto, and you can call the office. We will find out what that answer is. But it gives everybody a place to go to find out a specific question about a rule. So everybody's playing by the same rules. Doesn't matter if you play in Florida, California, Michigan, New York, doesn't matter. You should be able to go to a tournament and have the same basic rules.
Okay, and another one, referee program.
Mm-hmm. The referee program is really kind of cool, and we're working on that one to update it. Renee and I met with a couple of folks that have helped put that together a couple months ago, and it gives you an opportunity, gives you a place to go take tests, watch videos, read up, learn what those rules are, and be able to referee and maintain a match or a game with the same consistency anywhere you are. So you can get certified in different levels of being a referee. I think the level 1, I don't believe there's any cost to it. If it is, it's very minimal. And you can go in and read the rules, get certified. And one of the benefits is that a lot of people don't know that when you go to a national championship and you referee matches, you get paid for those. If you're a certified referee, you get paid a little more. So you can go make $15 a match refereeing as a certified referee. You don't have to referee a lot of matches, and you can pay for your trip to the tournament. It's a great incentive to get people to come to tournaments to referee and help cover their costs.
All right, this one I think is pretty cut and dry. Most should understand this. Tell us a little bit about, again, this is about why we're supporting and why we're giving money basically to USA Racquetball. And one of the things is tournament software with player ranking. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how the money goes directly towards that.
Well, as you know, we utilize R2 and have for many years. R2 is owned and operated by Ryan and Tish Rogers, and we support and maintain that software. Every year we approve a budget for improvements and upgrades and new things we want to see the software do. But the beauty of that software from a tournament director side, I talked a little bit about seeding, putting the draws together, publishing those out, being able to send emails out. I ran a lot of racquetball tournaments here in the Kansas City area. That software is phenomenal. And one of the real advantages is having access to a database of players that I can market out to. So you get people to come to your local tournament by sending out emails to them. Great, huge benefit. The other part of it is for the player. Is you can get on the website, go look at your draws, see how many people are playing, see who you're going to play, find out what your times are, look at the seating. It's a huge benefit. if you take all that away, tournaments become much smaller and much less interesting. I haven't played in a non-sanctioned tournament in probably 15 or 20 years. Just not that I don't support them. I love them, but the ranking doesn't count. The software isn't accessible for me. I can't see when my next match is online. You've got to go look at a paper draw on a wall. So many benefits.
Hey, a lot of us like the paper draws. So don't rip on the paper draws. I used to like getting those big draws of 128 taped together. Yeah. I have them somewhere. I don't know if they're in the house here or at my mother's house. All right. So this one's an interesting one to me, Mike, because a lot of members, a lot of players, and me myself included, you have listed as one of the places or where the money that gets donated or the support money that comes into USA Racquetball, it goes to international competitions like the Pan Am Games and the Pan Am Championships, the World Championships, and more. So a lot of the players and the fan base and community believe that because of our association with USOPC, the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee out of Colorado Springs, that stuff gets paid for us athletes. That's not the case, is it?
No, absolutely not. The Pan Am Games, we do get some assistance with travel and per diems and those type of things. But all of the other ones, the World Championships, the Junior Championships, the Pan Am Championship, all of those have to be funded by racquetball. They're not paid by the USOPC. And depending on how many championships there are, and it varies on each year, it ranges somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000 a year to maintain a team. Basically, we give a small stipend to the coaches. I'd love to be able to pay the coaches a lot more than we do. It's just not in the money right now, but it's one of the things we're working on. So they get a little bit. Travel expenses for the teams to go, uniforms, we get sponsorships for uniforms. So we have always, and you've probably seen, that we run a Team USA fundraising campaign every year. And our goal is to raise $30,000 to $50,000 each year in that campaign so we can support our teams. It's really important that we send a team to these international championships. It improves racquetball worldwide. It improves racquetball in the U.S. I mean, it's so many.
Mike, I agree. I couldn't agree more. Ellie and I last night on our show, we discussed Junior Team USA. And, it's a huge incentive and motivation and inspiration for these junior players to see us adults go and compete internationally. There's no doubt about it. And, having that, to me, is just as important as having, a professional tour, because that's what these kids and juniors are going to be looking up to. And that's what they need to strive for. And it's absolutely vital to our sport that we have, a U.S. team competing in all of these international competitions. And quite frankly, what a lot of people don't know is that in a lot of these other countries, their international teams are actually what drives the sport and drives the revenue in racquetball. The governments in most of these countries, Mike, this, they support their athletes to actually play racquetball for their countries. And people ask a lot of times, hey, why is USA Racquetball falling behind? And I have to explain to them, well, first off, athletes in almost every other country other than the United States, they get paid a monthly salary by their government to be, basically Olympic athletes or athletes that represent their country. And we just don't get that in the U.S. So it's really important that we maintain that and keep it strong. Mike, while we're talking about donating, there's a great question in the chat box from Michael Long. And Michael Long asks, if we give $1,200 for a lifetime membership, is that like donating?
It is like donating. It's got some great benefits to it in that you become a VIP at all the events, those type of things. And that depends and varies on the event, what it is that means. But it's a terrific way to support USA Racquetball. And long term, it's like making a donation. So if anybody that considers that, and over the last 3-4 months during the COVID time, we've had a fair amount of people that have jumped in and bought lifetime memberships, knowing that we're in kind of a financial crunch right now. We could use the cash to maintain the organization, and it puts you in a spot where you're a member now forever. It's a really good investment in the sport as a whole. And when we were talking about the U.S. team and the reasons and why, it's a question we get from time to time, is why do we put money into that? I mean, it's a small group of people, it's a small number of players. why do we spend all this money sending them around the world to compete? It surprises me how many people question that. And Sudsy, I'll ask you the question: if there was no U.S. team, would you have been motivated to get back into shape, get back into racquetball, and be as active in the sport as you are now if there wasn't a U.S. team?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, Mike, I've been here so long and I've done so much, and I think that the importance of the U.S. team really, really is what's driving these junior players. Because when, and again, Ellie and I touched on this last night, when you're a junior player in our sport, you need something to look at that you want to, grab onto, or you want a goal to reach. So for me, it was first U.S. team, and then it was playing professionally. And, currently today, no, to answer your question simply, when I won the national doubles in 2018, when I came back, and 2020 recently with Alex, no, I probably would not have played in those events if it wasn't for an appointment or a spot on the U.S. team. And again, I think that it's such a powerful way to drive and motivate these kids and inspire these kids. And, it's vital. And for people that don't understand that, I would love to take on that question anytime. And you and I have discussed some ways this is going to kind of lead me into one of the questions I have for you. If somebody was to donate to us directly, could they kind of request or allocate where they want that money to go to? Is that possible? So if somebody texts me right now and says, hey, I want to give X amount of money, but I want it to go directly to the U.S. team, is that a possibility?
It absolutely is. It's called a restricted donation, and they absolutely can. And the one thing I would ask is a lot of these programs we've talked about in USA Racquetball need specific funds to them. And the U.S. team typically gets a lot of designated funds put in. So certainly have no problem. And I love people that have a passion for a specific part of it. And they want to donate to that one thing. They want to make sure that the U.S. team travels and the juniors travel. And all this. Fantastic way to donate. But we also need unrestricted funds also. Because in order for USA Racquetball to survive, we've got to pay the bills. We've got to pay the rent and pay those sort of things. So we can't have all the restrictions. But I love the passion. We've had multiple people in the years past that their passion was Team USA, and they would donate thousands of dollars as long as that's what it went to. And legally as a nonprofit, those are restricted funds. They will be used for that specifically. So it's that's important to touch on, Mike, because a lot of people in the sport, they like to count USA Racquetball's money, right, and say where is it going and what are you doing with it? They think you're running around not everybody, but some people think you might be running around having parties and flying first class, and trust me, that's not the case. Again, here I am, and I'm not getting paid for this. I'm doing this for racquetball, for USA Racquetball. So if we had that problem, trust me, I'd be getting paid. But you would.
I just want to touch on something here, Mike. Megan Shelton asks, she says she has a question about changing the ranking to track against losses as well as wins. So let's see, has there been any consideration to adjust the ranking tracking system to have folks track people they lose to as well as tracking those they beat? I can't answer that, Megan. That's interesting. Todd Boss, I know, does that on the professional level. Mike, I'm not. Are you getting that question?
Yeah, it's interesting. I would love to delve into that a little bit more. The ranking system we have is something that was written specifically for racquetball. It doesn't really match anything else, and it's called a double jump system. And I've tried to learn as much about it as I can. But tracking losses is interesting. I think I'd be more than happy to sit and have that conversation. I think it'd be interesting to listen to.
Megan, spoken like a true champion. I get asked all the time. I remember my losses much more than I remember my wins. So if we ever want to get into that, we can. All right, Mike, we're, time-wise here. Let's get on to topic number 2. So that's kind of the why. And obviously, I'm sure a lot of you have many questions as to why. So feel free to contact Mike directly or USA Racquetball. And, they'll certainly answer those questions, because I know there's a lot more than that. So the second topic tonight, Mike, is kind of the how. And I see you wearing a medal, and I know you didn't win a national championship in Arizona in February. Let's talk about the Giving Games, and let's talk about that medal you're wearing right there. Tell us about what's going on.
And these, if you can see these, I'm not sure how well they come through on the camera, but these are absolutely beautiful, heavy medals. They are not cheap. You'll see for the giving games on the back of it, it says 2020 Medal of Giving USA Racquetball. So they're specific to our sport. These medals are ones we're giving away for the medal, the Medal of Giving part of the giving games. Really cool. You've probably seen a lot of the promotions we've put out. We've had some emails, a lot of social media posts about it. These are what the 3 top winners are going to receive for the Medal of Giving. And I know Stuart has the current ranking, and the ranking is updated each day. There it is right there. Mike and Karen Grizz are in the gold medal spot with $1,500. Laura Brandt, $1,100, and Steve Zarnicki with $1,000. And I really want to point something significant out about the Medal of Giving in those 3 standings. Those are huge, and the money donated is cumulative. I know that Mike and Karen have donated a couple times to get to that level that they're on the gold, and if someone donates above them, I'm hoping they throw just a little more in to get back in that gold medal spot. I would love to send that gold medal to Mike and Karen Grizz, or anyone else that wants to donate. Like I say, you can. It's all of the money.
When does that end, Mike? When does so just to clarify?
Sure.
So for everybody that's taking part in the giving games and participating, those are individual rankings. That gives the ability to you, the donor, the specific racquetball players, to donate directly to racquetball and get yourself up on that leaderboard. So those are the people that are, Mike and Karen Grizz are in first place. And I'm actually pretty surprised to not see a bunch of names, Mike.
Yeah.
I know very well that is involved.
Breaking up a little bit. I'm getting a lot of noise in the background. A lot of static. Oh, there it's going. All right. Well, we're working on Sudsy's mic. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a couple key parts about the Medal of Giving, and that 100% of all of the money that's donated in the Medal of Giving goes to USA Racquetball. It's really important. The other aspects of the Medal of Giving go into a pool, which means that all of the money raised by all of the sports combined goes into this large pool, and then it's all divided up among those sport NGBs. And right now there are 27 NGBs in the giving games. Really has been a fantastic program to be involved in. So when you're looking at the Medal of Giving and watching the standings, don't get discouraged if the numbers in the top 3 spots are a little bit out of your range, because we've added a little bit extra to the Medal of Giving. We're doing a drawing at the end of the games, and we're going to give away a gold seat at the 2020 US Open. That means we're going to draw names, and somebody we're going to pull out, and they're going to get a free seat in the gold box inside the main court for the entire 2021 US Open. As we've talked about many times, that is going to be a huge event. So if you have any desire to go and want to get a gold seat, which includes food, drink, best seat in the house, watch the competition, everybody that donates to the Medal of Giving is in that drawing. So we're going to draw out one name for that, but we're also going to draw out 5 more names that are going to win a free second entry in any of the 5 national championships. Does not include the US Open. Any of our national championships, you get a free second entry. So we're going to give away 6 prizes other than the 3 medals that we're giving away for the Medal of Giving. So donate a lot, donate often, get as many entries as you can.
I hope is my volume, my voice okay? The mic better now?
Perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. Great. Yeah. Sorry, I left you there for a second. I don't know what happened.
Hey, I can yak for hours.
Well done, though. Like a true professional, you just carried right through it. So, Mike, can you tell us a little bit of some of the other prizes that will be offered up for everybody?
Yeah, well, I just talked to a little bit about the gold seat, and then the 5-second entries are part of the Medal of Giving. There's another part of the giving games that should be starting any day now. It could launch tomorrow. Where the marketing company we're working with is still working behind the scenes to secure a few more sweepstakes items. But if you've ever heard of Omaze, and if you haven't, please go look them up. This is a neat company that we've partnered with to put this sweepstakes on, and they're going to have some celebrities, and somewhere between 5 to 10 of them. They're still working on securing a few of them, and the ones they've done in the past have been ones like Leonardo DiCaprio, Serena Williams, a lot of famous name people, and they put together a package with that individual. And the sweepstakes part of it is that you donate, and it's the number of donations you make. So if you make a $500 donation, that's fantastic. It goes into this pool, and it counts as one entry. So what you want to do is go in and make a lot of donations. But you'll buy tickets. So the tickets are something like $10 a piece. So go in and buy 100 tickets, 1,000 tickets, whatever that is, and then they'll do a drawing, and you may end up spending an evening having dinner with Leonardo DiCaprio or Serena Williams or any of a bunch of other people that we've given a list to.
When do we expect that to be? When do we expect that to start? And will we? I know Renee and Amy are doing a great job at getting the word out on social media. Yeah. When should we see that? Should be.
They're expecting it to launch either tomorrow or the next day. So it should be in the next couple of days they'll launch it, and it will run for about a month. It will run past the August 9th date that the Medal of Giving ends. So you can go on, buy tickets. If you get paid again a week later, buy some more tickets. It's all about the money and how many tickets you buy. There are going to be some really cool items. I want to touch real quick on a couple of the other items, though. If you've seen BuzzFeed, the things you see on Facebook where you take a test and tells you what color you are or what liquor you are, whatever it is, we've got one going that tells you what sport you are. So I decided, I was, I think, one of the first ones to take the test. Went on, and I thought, surely I'm going to get racquetball. Now it tells me I'm a surfer, so I need to take up surfing. Never have.
It's the hair, Mike. It could be the hair.
Could be. I don't know, but I've never tried. But I'm looking for it. I may have to go down and visit Rocky or something. Get him to give me a lesson. My wife took it. Debbie took it. She got racquetball.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell everybody what I got. So I want to know. I do want to know. I also know there's another item that we are doing for USA Racquetball as part of a fundraiser. So why don't you show everybody that and tell us what that's all about?
In our current time, we have a USA Racquetball and War logoed face mask. There's a link in the box, so you can go on and buy those. They're really cool. We didn't pre-buy them, so when you're August 6th is the last day to order them. We're going to then place the order to buy all of those, and then we'll ship them out. So the lead time on them is about 6 to 8 weeks. So if you need one in a hurry, if you need one next week to go to the grocery store, this probably isn't the one, but this supports, and everybody that buys a mask is included in the Medal of Giving. So for each order you place, you've got a drawing in for that gold seat at the U.S. Open.
How much are they? How much are the masks?
If you buy one, it's $13.50. Buy two, they're $25. Buy three of them, it's $35. If you buy five of them, it's $50. So they're $10 a piece. And the ship is $1.50, and we'll ship all of them at one time. And it's $1.50 covers the whole package. Doesn't matter how many you buy.
All right, very good. So,
really
so
cool.
now, what is the last day of the Giving Games? Because I know this is, obviously this is something very important for us at Racquetball. What's the last day to be involved and to donate? I know there's two separate dates, so just tell us.
A couple different dates. The Medal of Giving ends August 9th. That's coming up this Saturday, I believe, isn't it?
That's for the gold medal. So those are for the individual donations directly to Racquetball. That ends August 9th. So August get in there and donate.
Yep, and we update the standings every night. So each morning, look at it and see who's moved up on it. The sweepstakes, the Omaze sweepstake, is going to run through August, probably into September. We want to give it plenty of time so everybody has an opportunity to buy sweepstakes tickets. The world record, all of the sports together are going to go together, and we're going to set a world record for donations made. It starts August 8th, runs for 24 hours, and will end August 9th. So we'll have a lot of advertising coming on that in the next couple of days, and you just text to this number, and it makes the donation, counts all of them, and it's the number of donations made. So again, if you're making a $100 donation or a $20 donation, make $5 donations, $25 donations, because that counts to our world record, and you will be listed as part of a world record for the most individual donations made in a 24-hour period.
Cool. We're setting records. We're winning gold medals. That's the plan. We're running out of time here, Mike. So,
well, I've got one stat that I want to tell you about real quick.
Go ahead.
Something I've learned since the Giving Games, and everybody knows that COVID is just kicking everybody really hard. The NGBs, the national governing bodies of all of the sports involved in the USOPC, there are 45 of them. 27 of those they have evaluated and say there's a possibility of the 27 of those 45 going bankrupt before next summer. That's
I saw that.
Me.
That's brutal.
Can you imagine the U.S. losing 27 of our sports governing bodies because of COVID? So
yeah, I don't think people realize the impact of what you just said. There's 45 national governing bodies. So when they watch the Olympics or the World Championships or all these international competitions, there's NGBs, they're called, just like USA Racquetball. And the stat that they just put out was that it's possible 27 of the 45 go bankrupt. And talk about a blow to sports and humanity, and Team USA worldwide. I can't even imagine that. But, let's hope it doesn't get to that. But Mike, this is, I want to end it with this before we say goodnight to everybody. Sure. I want to know, this is a tough question. And the Giving Games, we're putting a lot of time, a lot of resources. We're really, really hoping that it makes a dent or really moves the needle for us in racquetball. But what is USA Racquetball's primary focus when this is all over? When the Giving Games are over in about a month or so, what are we going to do next?
Great question. And a lot of it will be determined on how the Giving Games, how successful they are for us. Things like when the U.S. Open has been postponed. We talked about it last time. It's $120,000 out of our budget. So when the games are over, we're going to sit and evaluate the budgets that I've talked about a couple different times. We've projected out a year through 2021 to where we're going to be, how USA Racquetball is going to survive this. And it looks like it's going to last a lot longer than we thought it was going to. I was hoping by fall we were going to be done with the COVID thing and we were all going to be back playing racquetball. I don't see that happening right now. So we've got to survive. So once this is over, myself, my staff, the board of directors, we will sit down and evaluate where we are, and we'll make decisions on how we survive. Racquetball, USA Racquetball has to survive if racquetball is going to survive. So if, depending on how much is raised through the Giving Games, will help determine what decisions are made. And then we have to start looking forward to national championships for next year. How do we make those happen? Do we believe they can happen? And if so, where, how? And I had no idea that we were going to be considering the possibility of not being able to hold championships next year when we had to cancel national singles this last year. And it's not over.
We speak about it offline often. I get a ton of questions nonstop about it, and at the end of the day, Mike, what it's going to come down to is that, you, the board, the committees, you're just going to have to sit down and make decisions, period. You're just going to have to make difficult decisions. But again, for the future of the sport, and maybe it will open up opportunities, if we do attack these issues. And we'll talk about that. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. And in 2 weeks, again, in our next Game 3 of Real Racquetball, maybe we can talk about the fundraiser that I came up with that would include all of USA Racquetball, but not just yet. We'll focus on the Giving Games. Yep. And, with that, Mike, I think it's time to go tonight. We will see everybody in 2 weeks because we do these games every 2 weeks. Real Racquetball happens every 2 weeks. You have plenty of time to get that gold medal from Mike. I know there's plenty
really cool.
out there We don't want Mike Wedel winning the gold medal. Right now, Mike and Karen Grizz. And again, you could donate, you know, if you got to donate weekly and wait for the paycheck, you can still, you know, you can still get up there on the podium. So let's thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the questions. Again, if you have anything direct for Mike Wedel or USA Racquetball, you can directly email him. You can message them, whatever you have to do. Stuart Solomon behind the scenes, thank you so much. You do a fantastic job. You're the guy running the show back there, and nobody knows that because Mike and I certainly couldn't do what you're doing right now.
No.
And to all of you racquetball players and fans, thank you so much for the support. Get out there, support the Giving Game, support USA Racquetball, support racquetball in general, and don't ever forget we are racquetball. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody.